So if you're watching over on YouTube, I have a sidekick today. What's your name?
Rob Shafer.
That's not your name. Don't you have a doctor in front of that
Well,
name?
I guess if you want to. Yeah, I think of myself as,
Doctor.
Rob.
That's one of the reasons why he's probably my favorite person, or at least one of. I can't say you're my favorite because then I'm going to get Rich Portalupe,
That's right.
Matt Josie,
One of sounds good.
Regina Bled. They're all gonna call me and say, "Hey, I thought we were.
That's right.
Thought I was your favorite person."
Exactly.
Yeah, so he's right at the top of the list. I don't know about his son yet, though. How do you think I'm gonna feel about your son?
He's going to be great.
He's gonna be a good dude.
If you like me,
yeah, he's even better.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, but he doesn't like cars. What am I gonna talk to him about?
Maybe he'll get into it.
He'll get it. He's gonna have to.
He might.
I'm just gonna talk about him so much around him that he's gonna force him into
osmosis.
Welcome in, everybody. We are doing something new here. We're gonna see how it goes the rest of this season, but this is kind of a guest / new co-host.
Oh, do I get a fancy intro and everything like that?
You're gonna get a fancy intro.
If I can get that, I might consider it.
Yeah, this is Dr. Robert Schaefer to all of you, but there are people that I see in this business that I don't think they realize how good they are and how much ahead they are of everybody else. This is one of them, which is one of the reasons why I love you, because you're so humble.
Wow.
I mean, there's ones out there that are even speaking on stage that think their what doesn't stink, and they're not doing half of what you do.
Mine does.
Especially after eating at La Loma.
Yeah.
Well, coming off I got triple whammied. I had 2 meat nights at Josie's, come home, get you at the airport. We eat fajitas on the way home. I had like 3 or 4 days in a row with meat. My body doesn't handle meat well, as we saw yesterday.
That's right.
Well, earlier, it was actually last season. Yeah, it was last season. No, it was this season. Earlier this season, I did a show around. So many of you out there are using remote monitoring improperly. And then what I see, talking to dental monitoring, Grin, maybe use Invisaligns, I see a lot of doctors complain that it doesn't work, or, whatever the bias is, whatever the complaint is. And I sit there and I go in clinic and I watch appointment after appointment sitting in the chair where I ask the assistants, why is this person here? And the assistants start thinking, and they're like, I don't know. I'm like, well, if you use remote monitoring, they shouldn't be here. And this episode is going to be good because I've never been in a practice in my life that uses remote monitoring more effectively than this guy and his practice. So, I mean, why do you think, I guess really 2 things today. We're going to talk about why people don't use it properly, and then also how you're using it. Because this guy, I mean, maybe you can talk about this. I mean, you see people 13 months for the first time.
Sometimes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think we started with the dental monitoring before COVID, and we didn't have the training. We didn't really know what we were doing. And so it's kind of by accident. We had someone that went 52 weeks. We had 52 aligners going weekly. And the thing was, she didn't have any no-goes, which for those that don't do dental monitoring means everything consistently fit every single aligner. So I didn't even really know she was a patient.
Yeah.
Until the very end when I got notified that she was completed. And I looked back and I thought, well, why haven't I seen this person come up before? And she had all goes. And so it was 1 year. And so that's when it made me realize, as long as you're confident in your plan and you're getting goes, why do you need to bring them in?
Yeah, that's the question. I mean, I think we kind of know the answer. I mean, I think there's 2. One, I don't think people, unless you bring it up, because the show I did earlier this year was a practice that uses remote monitoring well, and it's a big part of their practice. But there's still all kinds of appointments sitting in the chair, and the doctor, they didn't even think about it till I brought it up. So I think part of it is the assistants aren't trained or nobody's tracking how many people are there when they shouldn't be.
Yeah, and if that didn't happen to me, I don't know. I don't know if I would have been bringing her in, more often or not. Yeah. So it was a good thing to show that It does work, and you don't really need to bring them in unless you just can't see something that you want to look for, on it, like elastic correction and things like that. But it's amazing. And then you talk about income per visit. If you look at it that way, you can't beat it. You can't beat it.
Well, we've done those numbers where you take $6,000 braces, you take $6,000 Invisalign, and you add remote monitoring to it. It's crazy how much you make per visit. It's so much better than braces. It isn't even close.
Exactly.
But I think did it take a while for you to, I guess, not freak out not seeing somebody for that long?
Not after that. Not after that
Right.
first thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once that happened, you were kind of good.
After that happened, it was good. And I just saw a patient the other day. It was extraction case, 4 bicuspid extraction case. Again, right around 52 aligners. And first time I saw her back in the office was at a year. And she looked fantastic.
I can see.
And the parents were happy. And
Yeah.
no one's ever asked me that. No one's ever told me that they wanted to see me more. So
Yeah, that's a bias.
I mean, it works out.
Can you imagine mom coming in there? And this is a bias. I think this is the other piece where I think one of it, we'll talk about control here in just a minute and just being okay letting go, which I think for doctors is
hard.
not, and it's hard. Plus you add some of the personalities, depending on your personality, it becomes even harder. But the bias of they want to see me or we have to see them to justify the price is so the opposite of how other businesses look at it. The piece of what justifies the price is the convenience. And that's the piece you can charge more if you're not bringing them in. And I think that's the bias that people have to get over too, is it's okay not bringing them in. They're not going to get, so you've never had a mom go, damn it, Rob, we wanted to come in here 20 more times.
Never. And I've really never had anyone say they wanted a refund.
Want the money back? We're only here 4 times.
Yeah. I'm like, well, I can see you 4 times or I can see you 20 times. It doesn't really, well, it does matter to me, but because I don't really want to see you 20 times.
Yeah.
But the price doesn't change. So what do you prefer?
Well, but you are seeing them 20 plus times. It's just virtual.
True.
It's just a different way.
True.
Yeah.
But meaning though that they're not running, from work or school, sports, whatever the case may be, they're not running to my office that many times. I am seeing them, but so that is true.
Well,
but it's just the convenience to them. It's insane how much time they're saving.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the whole convenience word that I don't know why. When I spoke for dental monitoring for many years, there was this list of biases they would give me, objections they would want me to talk about. And it was the patient wants to see me, which I don't know how arrogant somebody has to be to think that people want to see you. It's not that they don't want to see you, but they don't want to see you 10 times when that's unnecessary.
And especially if everything's tracking and what are you bringing them in for?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 5-minute appointment.
Yeah.
And then
2 hours for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's the piece right there. It goes back to the control thing. I mean, I think if you're using DM, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but I see the DM practices typically use remote monitoring more effectively than a Grin or Invisaligns because you got the AI component that's just green lighting them. And then with the Grin and the Invisaligns, there's a human intelligence component that human has got to be trained to look at it the way the AI does, to be able to default to a green light rather than default to a, hey, we got to see you.
But I think they do a good job, I'm sure, and I think it's easy to get trained on that.
I think so too.
To see it, so just a different way of doing it. But
that's the piece too. I think the control.
Trust either way. Trust it, and then the beauty of it is whether it's AI or human. At any point where there's a question about it, you get to have your eyes on it.
Yeah.
And then you get to make the decision on where you want to go with that.
Yeah. Well, that's so there, I think the industry as a whole, at least from what I see, is when they do put their eyes on it, they still default to why do we need to bring them in rather than how can we use the tech to not bring them in. And that's a big from the assistants to whoever's running your remote monitoring to the docs. That's a big mindset shift.
Yeah, because sometimes just because one particular tooth isn't fitting doesn't mean the rest of the plan can't carry through. And so you may override that and everything else is going well. Just pick that back up later.
Yeah.
It's not.
Well, I'm wondering, back to the control piece is, I know there's a lot of people out there when they hear you say, we delivered the aligners and then the first time back, so their second visit really, the first time back was 12 months, 13 months, 14. I can see people cringe just listening to that because of how different it is.
What a poor doctor I am.
Exactly.
What?
Yeah. Meanwhile, you're seeing them every week. So you're seeing them way more than the people that are bringing them in.
I can't imagine doing even a liner treatment. I can't imagine doing that without remote monitoring now because before you give them maybe 10 aligners, you don't really know how they're fitting or not until they come in. And at that point, it's a little too late.
Well, that's the piece. We haven't shot this yet. Maybe we will while you're here. But the whole talking point of remote monitoring, that first talking point that we teach around, what traditional used to look like. Then this is the part, maybe more than anything, I don't understand why anybody has to be sold to, one, use remote monitoring, but then use it effectively. Is you see somebody today, everything looks fine. Then you don't see them again for 6 weeks. And meanwhile, 5.5 weeks go by and something's going off track and they make no progress. They show back up to your office going backwards. Everybody's had that happen. Remote monitoring puts an end to that overnight.
Yeah, and I think if you're not going to use it, maybe some would say I'm using it to the extreme, but if you're not going to use it to somewhat that degree, it's probably not worth doing.
Well,
But I don't know how you'd not do it because you see someone back after when they're not fitting, you're another appointment, and another clin check to do and another, all that compounds and it's so inefficient that you have to commit and let it prove you're wrong.
Well, you catch non-compliance right away. You catch things that aren't tracking right away. Maybe they are compliant and it's for whatever reason, something's going off track. There's so many pluses to it. And the only negatives, really there aren't any. It's the bias that people think are a negative. And I think we're gonna shoot an episode. The only potential negative is I hear this all the time is don't you lose the relationship with the patient and blah, 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 which brings up one, how you have to use remote monitoring and how you communicate. But then two is whenever they are there, that appointment has to go very different than how it does today, which we'll shoot another episode around that here in just a bit. So giving up control. So I guess let's look. So you have to give up control. You've got to use it right. And I don't even think you use it to the extreme because why? If they're tracking fine, why would you bring them in? Other than I'm freaking out because I haven't seen them in so long. I feel that they need to be here to justify whatever.
That would be it. Sometimes, if you're using elastics and you're working on the bite, sometimes they don't give you the photo that lets you see that. So you may want to bring them in, just for that.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know. I can't think of a reason to do it.
You've proven it because the cases that you do, like I tell everybody, it's like Sloth from Goonies. Like one you treat with, this is a podcast for another time, is you're treating it with Invisalign when half the industry and ortho doesn't even think you can do it with aligners. And then GPs going around telling people you're not an Invisalign case when with you, everybody is. That in itself is another topic.
So yeah, you combine every case as an Invisalign case, potentially, and you're using remote that's a double whammy for some
100%
thinking you're a quack.
Yeah, you're a quack.
I am.
Yeah, you want to see him every week. How dare you?
Yeah,
that's the weird. See, that puts everybody out there. You thinking that the patient wants to see you. That's an arrogance that I can't even understand. They don't want, it's not that they don't, but they don't want to see you unnecessarily. The convenience that you add to people's lives that allows you to charge more. The fact that you don't disrupt, I mean, for you all, a 5 or 10 minute appointment is 2 hours for them. That's how you have to look at it.
Well, and
The,
yeah,
the loss of control, which you don't, I think you're controlling it more by using the
for
tech to so that's the ironic thing
for
too.
sure. Yeah. And, the thing is, we haven't talked about is if you have if you need more appointments for other things, I mean, that opens the door
Yeah.
wide up. Or if you want more time off,
Yep.
it enables you to do that too. It opens up so many different things
Yep.
that and yeah, we can talk to Mike. I mean, I went from, it's not a huge amount of patients compared to some people, but from 60 some patients a day to 30 just by,
Yeah.
remote monitoring and seeing someone maybe, a total of 4 to 5 times in the office versus 15, 16,
Yeah.
17, whatever,
Well-
so it makes a huge difference.
Well, and that too, I mean, you know this. So you're the only practice I've ever been in that has a dedicated consult room for the existing patients to meet with the assistant, the ortho coaches at the end of every appointment, which is a brilliant move, but I can't tell you how hard that is to get installed into practice. Everybody pushes, like, don't have enough time, blah, blah. You don't have enough time
Yeah.
because you won't use technology like this. So then once you go from 60 to 30, now you've opened up time to give the patients that are there your full attention, not treat them like a number, and transform the experience and the education they're getting throughout treatment. And that's another piece that I can't understand why people can't wrap their head around is the opening up the time to reinvest it into other things that help grow you.
And that's what I've enjoyed. Back when you get started, right, you have all the time in the world. You don't have very many patients. You get to spend that time with the patient and parent, educating them. And this has kind of given me that back.
Yeah.
Where there is the time now to do that, whether it's to, go over the treatment, show them the progress, cooperation situations. There's time to do it now.
Yeah.
But there isn't when you're running and going and having the next person up, so to speak. And so that's been a welcoming addition to throw back to where it used to be for me that I kind of forgot about and kind of enjoyed.
Was there, and this for you, it may not have been, but the ones cringing out there, which if you are, again, you've got to get over, like your fear, your anxiety is all bias. There's no truth behind any of your concerns. It's just a totally different way of running that's what you have to understand. You can't run it the same way you ran it when you don't have remote monitoring. It's a total flip on its head, which is why you have to go all in, which I guess is a topic for another show. You see why I always say this? Like a podcast for another time?
Another time,
yeah.
What, you need your shirt.
I should wear that shirt.
You should.
I'm going to go get it on later.
Especially since we just started this out.
I know.
And I'm the one that gave you the shirt.
I should whip it out of the drawer and put it on. I'll do it for the next episode. Okay. I'll put it on. But what was the hardest, if there was, the hardest thing for you to, I guess, give up in terms of, hey, we're not going to bring someone back until there's a red light saying they need to for whatever reason? What was the hardest thing for you to get over? Or was it just like, it just made sense?
I think fortunately it was that one instance of the first time we started using it, that first patient, so to speak, that went that long. I don't know that I had really any fear or trepidation after that. I think there's still, because, we're type A personalities usually, and we do like control to some degree. Maybe giving up how often you think that you needed to even have an eye on, on it. But that's just the beauty of it, is you will be notified when something doesn't go the way you have planned it out. So that's a peace of mind right there. I think that helps get you over the anxiety of whatever else it may be.
Yeah.
And the beauty is, it's up to you when you want to put eyes on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, maybe you don't go that long and it's not that I don't have eyes on it.
That's the thing.
That
You do.
amount of time I do,
Yeah.
but you can vary that. Maybe for some, it may be they want to see it after every 5 aligners, maybe 10. You get to choose your comfort level.
I guess my question would be is, why would you want to do that?
Well, I'm just saying it's a way to ease into it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's
You
a
don't have
way-
to go all in.
You don't have.
immediately.
It's a way to ease into it and prove to yourself that this is working okay after 5, and then after 10, and whatever. Yeah. So, because
a good point.
For some, it's going to be hard to do that. Yeah. Anything we do sometimes, it's okay to jump in and take it at a slower pace.
Yeah.
As long as you're still trusting the
tech.
the tech and your ability of how you set the case up.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing.
Well, for the devil's advocates out there, I think what you're saying now will help, because I know there's so many
hope
people.
so.
I mean, this audience, the people that listen to this show are they're pretty forward thinking, very forward thinking, innovative, and a lot of them are already doing a lot of this. But there's also a lot that aren't. So, have you had a kick? Because I know this industry is such a, we tried to extend monthly payment plans beyond the 18-month, and we got screwed. Okay, how many times did you get screwed? Once. Right, okay, so you changed your entire payment plan structure because of Joe that screwed you, not the 99 that paid you fine. So what would you say, or have you had people where you did this, and when they did show up, it was a cluster?
No.
No,
not from a treatment standpoint,
Right.
but that'd be another reason to have someone come in, is maybe for whatever reason they're not getting their note. You find out that they're not getting their notifications. They just need one of those cooperation pep talks. You bring them in for that.
Yep.
But you're never surprised
Mm-hmm.
by what's going on.
Yeah.
You know what's going on, and you're able to nip that cooperation in the bud right off the bat.
Well, you just brought up a point that, without even bringing up a point, is that you're never surprised. Where I guarantee all of you have been surprised many times when they showed up again, not using remote monitoring, and you're like, "What the hell's going on?"
Yeah. Either something's not fitting,
Right.
they're not on the aligner number that you wanted them to be on,
Yeah.
and so, or their
Whatever.
their hygiene's bad, they're not whatever, and ultimately that's causing more appointments and more stress on everyone's part.
That right there is the thing that topic, that point, is what mind boggles me the most about having to convince people that remote monitoring is a no-brainer. Is that everybody has had the appointment where a liner wasn't fitting, they're wearing the wrong one, bad hygiene, whatever the heck it is. It screws everything up. No progress is made. You're like starting all over. Whatever everyone says, yeah, I've had that happen, and probably multiple times. And you say, okay, remote monitoring ends that overnight, and they still don't do it.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling. I can't, and I don't know if this is my outside the industry eyes perspective,
For some people, I guess it's new, and you get into the routine. Sometimes change is hard for people.
Yeah.
And you get into the routine. You think what you're doing is working, and it's not that it's not working, but it could be better.
Yeah.
It could be a lot less stressful, and you do get more time, and you can use that time however you want to use it, and you do need less team members overall.
Yeah, we're gonna shoot that one for sure.
I don't know. I would just encourage everyone to give it a try, and
The win.
and especially with Invisalign. Now again, I'm not that familiar with it because I haven't used it, but it would rely on a team member, with eyes on it.
Yeah,
and that
using
sort of thing.
Invisaligns.
Yeah, but anyway, I don't remember where I was going with that. But
Well, change is
it
hard.
changes hard.
And, yeah.
But I would encourage people to try it out.
Well, I think if you're going to at least, if you're skeptical, whatever it may be, at minimum, you should be using Invisaligns. It already comes with your lab
Right.
fee. So it's nothing additional. It's a great way. It's a great way, and they keep improving it. Like, is it the best? No, but it's way better than it was 2 years ago, and they'll keep improving it. And it's already coming with your lab fee, so why would you not at least, at minimum, put your Invisalign patients in?
And if you have someone watching that, it's still going to save you appointments.
Yeah,
No,
for sure.
No doubt about it. You don't necessarily need the AI. It's still gonna. You still won't have to be surprised,
Right.
Versus someone coming in after their 10th or 12th line or whatever your protocol is, and nothing's fitting, or they're on the wrong one. And listen, that for that stuff, that gets me frustrated.
Well, yeah,
And
you're reactive to everything.
And I don't want to react that way to a patient, but sometimes it's like, what are you doing? And
what aren't you doing?
yeah, what aren't you doing? And it's just it eliminates a lot of that.
Well, it's a mindset shift for sure, but it's a no-brainer. And where we're going to take this from here is there is a very specific way you have to run your practice if you are going to go all in on remote monitoring. And so whether you're doing it already or you're not doing it, what we're going to be talking about maybe in the next episode, but we're about to shoot it, is exactly how you need to run your existing patient experience after they buy. We're going to give you a whole host of ideas on how to run the practice very different to maximize the remote monitoring in the existing patient experience, because you cannot do it the same. And a lot of you do. I see that all the time. Remote monitoring doesn't work. It's the same thing with like the virtual appointment doesn't work. Yeah, it does, but you're not doing it right. So that's why it's not working. This is the same thing. You got to flip the practice on its head. So,
and that is a good point, because if they have tried it and they're not doing it the right way,
yeah, it's
not going to work. And then you get frustrated, and then you've dropped it, and you think that the way you were doing it before was a better way of doing it.
Yeah. Well, and I know, just whether I've spoken for them or just mingled with these companies, that one of their biggest hurdles is getting people to go all in. And
with anything, though.
With anything.
That's even with,
For sure.
a bracket system.
Yeah. I see it
system.
without a doubt. I see it with New Patient Group. I see it with another company, Right Chat. I see it with OrthoFi. Remote monitoring is they dabble. And one of the worst things you can do, like what happens all the time, is you get this doctor go to AO and they're like, okay, I'll do it. I'll give it 10 cases. And I'm just like, that's a guaranteed failure.
All orthodontists have a drawer full of
pilots,
the trying things.
It doesn't work.
It's
a total revamp of the practice to get it to work. But thanks for joining me, man. Yeah, it was good. Yeah. You made it through. There was no blooper reels.
Well,
yet
there will be.
There will be. They're coming. 100%.
Yeah.
As always, everyone, thumb this up on YouTube, make some comments, be a leader, get the chatter going, share with anybody that wants to get better personally or professionally. Audio experience, make sure to write us a 5-star review. And until next time, we're out.